welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the podcast. This is The Civil Point with none other than your host, moi, Ariana Dieva, and I am back with another episode, brand new, with hot topics and the psychopathness of our American administration or regime that is under the Condon administration. And honestly, what can we expect from this administration? It just keeps getting worse day by day. And when it comes to these psychopaths that are running our country, it's like nothing is new. Nothing is new. But what is new with me is I have exciting news. Really exciting news. I am going to be moving. So currently I live in upstate New York, and I will be moving to New Jersey, an hour out of the city, which I'm so excited about. I've been dying to get back to the city area, and right now this would be the closest I can get to the city without living in the city and transferring with my job. So I'm very excited. Am I nervous? Absolutely. Moving is, strenuous, causes anxiety, but I am ready for this move. I'm ready for a new chapter. I'm ready to close this 4 years that I've been in upstate New York, close this chapter. I've learned so much, and I am just excited for this new chapter because when I move, I am going to have unlimited access to so many resources when it comes to only being an hour away from New York City. So I am excited. I am ready. I am geared up, but I am also ready, excited, and geared up for today's podcast episode because we have a lot to talk about when it comes to this Republican Party that obviously supports Nazism and fascism and everything that we have fought in America against for 250 years. And it's just insane to me that this is all continuing to happen under our noses, and it feels like we can't do anything about it. It's like a rolling ball. And it's like rolling throughout the entire country. And it's like, what can we do to stop it? Other than talk about it and make sure everyone knows what the f- is going on in this government. The Daily Talk. Everyone needs their voices heard. But let's go ahead and get into some of our topics for today. Let's talk about none other than Donald Trump's sick infatuation with this man, Stephen Miller. Because we all know Trump, Connie Donnie, is not running this, country. We all know this at this point. He is the poster child. He is the face. He is the mask. And underneath is a hand. And that hand up that man's keister, up that man's cheeks, is Stephen Miller. For sure. And I know it for sure. This man is just evil. He is sick. He is maybe a little bit autistic. I mean, from the way he talks, he looks like Eric Cartman from South Park when he was in a wheelchair. Should I pull it up? We should pull it up. We should pull it up real quick. 1 second. I need to show you the reference. In a wheelchair. Wait. Okay, maybe I'm being a little mean with this one, but 1 minute, I can't find it. I have to find it. Okay. I know this is really bad. But I have to pull it up. I'm sorry, but when Stephen Miller speaks, he gives me these vibes, and I'm gonna show you guys. He so gives me these vibes when he speaks, because when he speaks, he goes like this. Anyway, Stephen Miller, that's you. I think of you, Eric Hartman, 24/7, with a helmet on. You need a helmet on during your press conferences, Stephen Miller. You really do. But, let's talk about why Trump is so infatuated with this man. Trump is really infatuated with men. This whole Republican Party we know is infatuated with men. We know. I mean, Grindr shuts down every time there's a whole convention of Republican men around. And it's the truth. And if they could just live in their truth, they would be so much more happier. These, literal demon queens. Who said that? Someone said, I was watching I've Had It, the podcast, and they called them demon queens. And I love that term, so I'm going to start saying it. But yeah, we all know you guys have a little homosexuality in you. We all know you guys like to explore each other in the stadiums of Charlie Kirk's funeral and memorial. We all know that you have Grindr notifications going off on your secret phones from your secret wives every day. Just admit it, and you'll be happier in your life. But when it comes to Donald Trump and his obsession with men, especially now Stephen Miller, let's talk about this. Let's go ahead and pull this up real quick. Oh, there's Stephen Miller. So we're going to go ahead and play this clip because this is Trump having some sick obsession with Stephen Miller, and it's weird, but it exposes Stephen Miller so much. Let's go.
Didn't get elected. I did get elected for crime, but I didn't get elected for what we're doing. This is many, many steps above. And I want to thank Stephen Miller, who's right back in the audience right there. I'd love to have him. I love watching him on television. I'd love to have him come up and explain his true feelings. But maybe not his truest feelings. That might be going a little bit too far. But Stephen, thank you for doing an unbelievable job. And the people of this country love you, I'll tell you. And they love what you say about crime and stopping crime.
So first of all, Trump, you're lying again. Stephen Miller is not loved by the American public. No one loves that man. His own family is disowning him and discrediting him and naming him and labeling him a Nazi, a psychopath, a man who had no friends and ate lunch alone in the cafeteria. So no one loves this man, not even his own family. So Trump, again, another lie. Can we add that to the 7 millionth lie that this man has told since his 2 administrations? But yeah, it's insane. But what caught me about this was that Trump was like, oh, maybe you should come up here and speak, but I don't know, you're going to reveal your truest feelings, and I don't know if the world is ready for that. Like, are we talking about truest feelings for same-sex attraction? Because we know that's a thing for the Republican Party. Is that going to be talked about anytime soon? No, because they're trying to, strip away gay rights. No, I guess it's just the truest feelings of him being a fucking cult member Nazi. That's what's happening. They want to... Trump is afraid to have Stephen Miller speak because he knows the truest feelings of Stephen Miller is about gas chambers and murdering anyone who does not look like him. Just destroying and eradicating every population of person that isn't a white man with a bald head that looks like Eric Cartman on South Park. Yeah, that episode. So... it's just insane to me. And it's like, how do these people get into these positions of power? And it's not a position of power where they earned it. It was a position of power that they conned their way into it. Trump was a meal ticket, and now Stephen Miller is running the show. And we know it. This man is running the show with his rhetoric about trying to make terrorists as protesters and equate them with this just strong language that demonizes and criminalizes protesting that is available under our Constitution, to him calling just everyone in regards to ICE like national treasures and heroes and soldiers of God, basically. It is complete lunacy. It's erratic lunacy by this administration. It is a right-wing cult of white nationalism, American Christian, that is infiltrated our United States government. It feels like it's just been sitting and lying in wait for just for decades to now expose again. So when we talk about all this Christian Nazi nationalism, you would think that's a dichotomy, that the two are opposites, but right now they're connecting and conflating, and it's scary because Christianity is supposed to be about love and peace in the world. And this is why I always say that this administration was never about Christian values. It was about using Christianity to cloak themselves, to resolve themselves of their sins, while doing every horrible thing in the book. Like, taking children in the middle of the night butt naked and zip tying them on corners in the streets and then putting them into unmarked vans and calling yourselves God's Avengers, and Jesus would be happy and smiling that you held a gun to a child's face and abducted them in the middle of the night. Like, that's crazy. It's insane to me. But I wanted to continue on here because when we talk about Stephen Miller, it's just insane to me that these people continuously have a voice, have a fucking voice. So I wanted to go ahead and change topics here because we have complete exposure to the Republican Party, and I want to say that it shouldn't be, it shouldn't be new. We shouldn't be surprised. It's upsetting that we shouldn't be surprised at this, that the Republican Party dabbles in Nazism and bigotry and hatred and, the support for the eradication of ethnic groups and people who do not look like them. And it's just insane to me that I'm not surprised, but I'm also just dumbfounded that people don't find this insane. So let's go ahead and get into this because there was a group chat of young Republicans that was exposed with insane text threads that show nothing but anti-Semitism, jokes about gas chambers, slavery, rape. Like, what the F is going on? And the fact that our vice president co-signed this rhetoric, these text threads of young Republicans, like, it's insane to me. But then again, I'm like, how do these people who are not a part of this group not see it? Or the people even inside of the group not see what's wrong with these kind of text threads? And then our vice president co-signing it. Like, our vice president is co-signing he's a Nazi. That's not what America has stood for and will never stand for. But let's go ahead and get into this real quick. So Politico reported that there was a leaked text message threads that expose young Republicans in a racist chat. And like thousands of private messages reveal young GOP leaders joking about gas chambers, slavery, and rape. Let's read some of these text threads. Everyone that votes no is going to be in the gas chamber. Excuse me? Why are we joking about gas chambers? Especially with the weight of the world and the volatility of the world, including the genocide going on in Gaza, as well as, what is going on in the United States with, immigration and Spanish-speaking people being racially profiled and abducted off the streets and put it into concentration camps like Alcatraz. Like, who raised these people to allow them and think this is okay? Of course, not good people, but there's great I love Hitler admiration. We have kill the bitch. When do we start bullying, dude? Boom, they're dead. He also hates Jews. They love the watermelon people talking about black people. Racism. This girl is fully, I guess, fucked or retarded. That's what the word. Stay in the closet, F word. Like, this, I'd go to the zoo if I wanted to watch a monkey play ball. I'm ready to watch people burn now. We are officially under consideration for a Trump endorsement. This is our White House co-signing the disgusting, despicable, sick, racist, anti-Semitic messages in a group thread from the young Republicans. Young. They're not young, and I'll get to that. But this is insanity. Like, it's fucking sick. And I'm like, how do we combat this complete utter disgusting force of racism and bigotry, joking about slavery and rape and gas chambers. How do we combat this? And I'm just like, we can't, because when someone has something on their mind and they're determined to have that outcome, especially when it comes to political motivation, it is beyond, without a shadow of a doubt, impossible to change their mind. Unless something dramatic and drastic happens to them, their end goal is in sight and they have their blinders on, and that's all they're worried about. And right now, what is going on in our government is a suppression of free speech, a destruction of our Constitution, a destruction of rights for every minority group of people. I mean, I'm talking about women, black people, gay people, trans people, Asian people. We saw Laura Loomer on Twitter literally have some racist tweets saying that they're going to go after Muslims next. So no one is off limits when it comes to this administration. And we said it before the election night, and we said it years before the election took place of 2024, that this is their end game. It wasn't going to stop at, criminals. No, by criminals, they meant the entire group of Mexican people, and they would racially profile them. We know it wasn't going to stop at Mexicans. We knew it wasn't going to stop at LGBTQ plus people. I just saw a video of ICE agents with a knee in the back of a black young man, okay, who is a citizen. And they said, no, we can detain this man. An American citizen. Let's pull it up, actually. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick as well, because this was insane to me when I saw it. So let me go on TikTok, because I think I saved it. Let's go here. So let's go here. It's insane to me. Yes, here we go. I saved it. So this is ICE raiding a Walgreens in Chicago. So let's go ahead and get this up here. So this is what our taxpayers' dollars are paying for. This is what we are paying for. We are paying for a militia, a private militia at Donald Trump's behest, to go into our streets and attack American citizens. This is what our tax dollars are funding. Not healthcare for all Americans, not national defense from foreign enemies. No, ICE going into Walgreens in democratic cities and targeting black individuals now. Let's take a look at this.
Fuck out of here! Real Americans don't want you! Get the fuck out of here! You fucking Nazi! Get the fuck out of here! He's American. He's a citizen! He's a citizen! Why are you running? Because you saw you were. He's a citizen! He's a citizen! That's my brother-in-law! Get the fuck away from me! You don't know what's going on, so get the fuck back! Back up! Back the fuck up!
This is disgusting.
That's my brother-in-law.
Obviously, we knew this was the end game. Like I always say, when you let them take an inch, they are going to take 1,000 effing miles. And it's not stopping at Spanish people. And it never should have started with Spanish people, because we knew it would go further. And to the people who said, to the black Americans who said, this is not our fight, this is why I continuously said this is our fight. Even though they're not targeting black people at the onset of this ICE immigration enforcement policy, it is a militia to surveil and detain and imprison anyone they want to. And that is the problem that we are now facing. They're not stopping at what their intention was, because their further and deeper and truer, most darker and evilest intention, most likely sadistic and satanistic intention, was to obviously take this a step further each time they have the opportunity to. And now they're in democratic cities targeting black individuals, Black Americans, and it's not going to stop until they eradicate every group of people who do not follow their idolization of a white Christian nationalist nation. And I don't even think they're going to stop at, they're not going to stop at the door of white Christian nationalism, because it was never about America being, Jesus-like. It never was. They're going to go for Christians as well. They're going to persecute you as well, because they used your religion as a foot in the door to get into power, so they can promote their sick, twisted ideologies to conform everyone in the United States to being a white man. That is their end goal. They want white men on top, and they want anyone who is existing in the United States that isn't a white man to be a slave to the system, for us to work to the system like a blood sacrifice. That is what's going on. And they're not going to protect your Christianity in 2-3 years. I can guarantee you that. They're not going to fucking protect your Christianity or your Bible. They're going to throw it away and burn it in the name of this regime that is now going to be an American dictatorship that is going to survive Donald Trump. Donald Trump is going to die, and this system is going to survive. That is the problem. That is where these maggots are not thinking about. Donald Trump may be a shiny toy, but there's something eviler, more disgusting coming after him. And whether that's JD Vance or another sycophant, I don't know. But it is going to get extremely worse if we don't continue to talk about what is going on in this country. The destruction of democracy, the destruction of minority groups of communities, and the destruction that is soon going to be your Christianity. And it's going, I've said it in my past videos, the cross is going to be the mark of a swastika. It's going to equate to the mark of a swastika because of what Christians allowed this administration to do and to pervert their religion in the name of God and in the name of saving this country. So, again, it's just insanity here. In-fucking sanity. So we're going to go ahead and move on a little bit here. Because I did want to... these are the faces. These are the faces. One minute, my thing is not loading. Here we go. These are the faces of this political young Republican group chat. So everyone knows and sees who these sickos and Nazis are. It's disgusting that we have this kind of rhetoric being spread and normalized. That's the most deplorable part. It's being normalized by our Vice President of the United States. Just look at this. We have Peter, we have Joe, we have Adam, we have William, we have Samuel, Luke, Bobby, Anna. I mean, all of these overweight, obese, disgusting, greasy-faced hogs sitting here with these ideas and joking about gas chambers, joking about Black people, jokes about slavery, about raping. And our Vice President is defending it in fucking sanity. But we're going to watch JD Vance, the VP, the sicko, defend this. Let me go ahead and pull this up here. I don't know why I didn't have it up here. We're going to go ahead and pull it up. Or not. I don't know why it's not here. I had it, and now it's not here. Where are we? I had it. Here we go. So the fact that our vice president can sit here and downplay, our vice president can sit here and downplay the fact that the young leaders in the GOP are making these threads, comments, and documented claims of racism, bigotry, jokes about slavery, gas chambers, and rape, among other atrocious things. And he can sit here and qualify that and pass it off as young people making jokes. I did the same thing when I was younger. Well, guess what? That doesn't make you any more better or less evil than the people that are doing it now. We should know better now not to say these things because it's not okay. Not because we might get caught, but because it's not fucking okay as leaders who are trying to represent the people of America to have these views of anti-Semitism and bigotry and just complete sadistic ideologies about rape. It's not okay. So we're going to go ahead and play this video of JD Vance defending these fucking disgusting pigs.
On what kids are saying in a group chat, grow up. I'm sorry. Focus on the real issues. Don't focus on what kids say in group chats. But there's another angle to this that I just have to be honest about. I mean, I'm like an old guy at this point. I'm 41 years old. I have 3 kids. You know, I grew up in a different world, right? Where not most of the stupid things that I did when I was a teenager and a young adult, they're not on the internet. Like, I'm going to tell my kids, especially my boys.
I'm afraid. I would be afraid of the stupid things that JD Vance said that are not available or documented on the internet. I'm glad that we can document these sickos and their rhetoric of just insanity that targets and hurts people. Because without that, we wouldn't know what their goals are. And the fact that JD Vance is basically saying, I'm glad my shit is hidden. I'm glad y'all can't clock me on my shit, because if you did, you would know exactly how I felt about every single group of people. But, like, he's defending the fact and trying to gloss over the fact that, oh, these are young people. No, they're not young people. They are supposed to be leaders in communities, and they're having these threads stating that, watermelon people, referring to black people as watermelon people. It's insanity that our president is right now defending Nazi rhetoric. Our vice president, JD Vance, is defending Nazi rhetoric against the American people. Like, this is something America stands for. No, we fought wars over Nazi rhetoric. We fought wars over not allowing people to be put into gas chambers. We fought wars against slavery on this soil. And you think JD Vance is going to sit here and normalize this shit as young kids who are not young kids? They're 31-year-olds, 29-year-old people, adults. They're going to normalize this? They're normalizing it because this is exactly how they fucking feel.
Don't put things on the internet. Like, be careful with what you post. If you put something in a group chat, assume that some scumbag is going to leak it in an effort to try to cause you harm or cause your family harm. But the reality...
Some scumbag is going to leak your sicko text. Maybe just don't have sicko text. And maybe, I don't know, treat yourself to not have sicko fucking thoughts. That way it won't be a problem.
Is that kids do stupid things, especially young boys. They tell edgy, offensive jokes. Like, that's what kids do. And I really...
It's just what boys do. It's just what boys do. Why do we use that excuse? Why can't we hold people accountable for the actions they do? It's just what boys do. Fuck you. Teach your children not to be fucking assholes. Not to be fucking Nazis. How about that?
don't want us to grow up in a country where a kid telling a stupid joke, telling a very offensive stupid joke, is cause to ruin their lives. And at some point, we're all going to have to say, enough of this BS. We're not going to allow the worst moment in a 21-year-old's group chat to ruin a kid's life for the rest of time. That's just not okay. Like, we live in a digital world. This stuff is now etched in stone online. We're all going to have to say, you know what? No. We're not doing this. We're not canceling kids because they do something stupid.
These are not kids. These are grown adults who have continuously put this rhetoric in group chats over and over and over again over time, over years. We're not canceling them because they're young kids who made a dumb mistake. They're being held accountable for their actions because their words hurt people, and their rhetoric, being a part of leaders in our country and future leaders possibly, could harm people. It's not about brushing this off because, oh, it's a dumb kid who made a joke and now he's going into college and he's getting a degree for business finance. No, these are people who are looking to shape our fucking country, JD Vance. That's why it's a problem. That's why we hold people accountable, especially when they're in political positions, to shape our fucking country. That's why this rhetoric, that's why this text threads, this is why referring to black people as watermelon people, this is why talking about grape, this is why talking about loving Hitler is a fucking problem, JD Vance. And the fact that you're sitting here downplaying it because they are Republicans is disgusting and shows everything about this administration. And what this administration is about, as they've shown time and time again on every hand they've dealt out to us, is that their card of the Nazi, of the swastika, is right on their fucking foreheads. And it's sick. It's disgusting. And the fact that our president is sitting here, our vice president is sitting here acknowledging and downplaying the severity of these comments shows exactly where he stands. He doesn't stand with the American public. He stands with the exclusive group of Nazi right-wingers. Speaking of Nazi fucking right-wingers, speaking of Nazi right-wingers, I wanted to bring this up as well here. Let me go ahead and bring this up. Hold up. Where did we go? Yeah, here we go. Boom. I don't know why my stuff is not in order today. I'm usually more in order, trust me. Let's go ahead and bring this up. Speaking about swastikas and Nazi right-wingers, these are the people that are in our government, by the way. These are the people that are running our country. And somehow people don't see this as a problem. Like, we need to stand up and speak out a little bit louder about this. But a friend in D.C. had a Zoom call with a Congressman, Dave Taylor's office today. Taylor's legislative correspondent, Angelo Elia, had what can only be described as an altered American flag, a swastika flag, prominently displayed in his background. Look at this shit. Look at... That's a disgrace to America. Burning an American flag is a nothing compared to having a Nazi symbol in the center of our American flag. That's called desecration to our country. Burning an American flag is called freedom of speech because we don't agree with how America is treating minority groups of people. But placing a sworn, disgusting Nazi symbol and altering our American flag is a complete... I feel like this is the most disgraceful thing I've ever seen done to America. This man deserves to be arrested and imprisoned for treason for altering an American flag and displaying it in this kind of display, let alone it being in a congressman's office. That congressman needs to be fucking fired as well. Everyone needs to go. Everyone needs to go in this government at this point. Democrats don't have a fucking backbone. Republicans are taking over this country and turning it into Germany 2.0, trying to eradicate every group of person that isn't a white male Christian nationalist. And now we have fucking Nazi American flags on display, altered, desecrating the history of America. We literally fought a war against Nazis. We literally fucking fought a war against Nazis. Did we not? Did we not fucking win? The problem is we did not give these bitches a little bit more punishment than they deserved. That's the problem. We should have fucking gave them so much harsh punishment after World War II, but instead we gave them slaps on the wrist with the Nuremberg trials. Yet now we have this. What contributed to this is the fact that these bitches got slaps on wrists. And instead, now we have this problem arising in America. Not altered, desecrated American flags with Nazi symbols right in the middle of it. It's fucking insane. And like, I'm really fucking heated about this because it's just like, I get it, actually. Because these bitches don't have empathy. These fucking disgusting pigs don't have consideration. These disgusting pigs don't have a sense of reality when it comes to actual human beings. And like I said before, when someone has a target on their mind and a mission in their mind and blinders on, that is going to be their only target and mission with those blinders, and nothing is going to stop them from that mission. And for the people that are sitting here like the ICE agents that are going to be exactly like the German soldiers that went just along with it, it was my job. No, you're going to be held accountable for every action you've done, for every congressperson, for every person that stepped foot in this government and allowed this to happen. You will be held accountable for the desecration of America. And I can fucking guarantee that. But let's talk about other things, like, the extreme panopticon of a fucking surveillance state we're about to be under. Let's talk about that, because Pam Bondi now wants to create basically a gun registry. A gun registry. So what this basically means is that they are going to subpoena gun right groups, not only gun right groups, but anyone that's possibly sold guns to anyone, and they're going to subpoena the verified memberships list for the government, and basically creating a de facto gun registry for people who own guns in the United States. Now, I'm all about gun control, but I'm all about proactive gun control, not reactive gun control like our government has been doing for the last, since its inception. But I'm ready for proactive gun control, not reactive gun control that creates a registry and a list of gun owners in the United States. That seems more like our government is trying to surveil people who already have guns instead of trying to protect people from weapons of mass destruction that can destroy and kill lives. They're looking more about surveillance rather than protecting American people. And by surveillance of guns, you know what they'll be able to do with those lists? They'll be able to, in a few years, I can guarantee you this, they'll be able to say, this person shouldn't have a gun, take it away. This administration has already floated around the idea of taking firearms away from specific groups of people, like trans people. It was an idea that floated around that even the NRA came out and said, hold up, we're not going to support that. Guns are for everyone. Our Second Amendment is for everyone. The fact that the NRA stepped up for trans rights more than our government did as they tried to abolish and destroy them is very telling. Very telling. So the fact that they want to now create a gun registry, a de facto gun registry of Americans who hold guns, and then also subpoena the coalitions and the memberships lists of these gun registries is very scary. Because then in a few years, when they have a panopticon of control over the United States in an invasive surveillance state, you know what they're going to be able to do? They're going to be able to say, you're not going to have a gun anymore. We're going to take this away. And there's nothing you can do about it because now we're under a dictatorship. This is setting the groundwork for removing the option for rebellion against this regime that is in control of America right now. This is what it's setting up. And also I wanted to talk about NSPM 7. National Security Presidential Memorandum 7. This is scary because lately in our government, we have been having a lot of talk and a lot of rhetoric that is looking to criminalize what our First Amendment provides American citizens, and that is freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of protest. This NSPM 7 is an executive order that was signed by Donald Trump in, I believe it was September 25th, 2025. And I just want to take a look at Section H here, because what this does is very scary. It creates a broad sense of what terrorism is. And we already know they're trying to normalize the fact and dehumanize our protesters as terrorism and try to equate them with strong language, manipulative language to equate protesters to terrorism. Yes, now the frog suit, the inflatable frog suit, is a terrorist, according to our government in Portland. Isn't that insane? By the way, those frog suits apparently are like sold out everywhere. You can't get one. But I saw one that was like Patrick Star in the heels, and I was like, I need that one. But anyway, when I go out and protest, I'm gonna wear the Patrick Star one. Anyway, Section H of this, I'll read it real quick. The Attorney General shall issue specific guidance that ensures domestic terrorism priorities include politically motivated terrorist acts such as organized doxing campaigns, swatting, rioting, looting, trespass, assault, destructive property, threats of violence, and civil disorder. So they make very clear what they're attacking here and what they're trying to so-called protect, which is disobedience and dissent to our government through terrorism, trespassing, looting, very specific words that have very specific meanings. What you need to pay attention to is that last two words, civil disorder. Civil disorder is broad. Now, when you talk about creating laws in the United States, actual legislation, federal and statutory, are meant to be broad. They are meant to create room for our judicial system to act in a capacity to make decisions against disputes that arise under those laws. That way, those cases then set precedent for future cases of that nature. But when it comes to an executive order that is not technically law, to have this word, civil disorder, that is broad, allows our government to then dictate what constitutes as civil disorder. And this is where the problem stems from. Because if our government can arbitrarily define what civil disorder is under any sort of circumstances, then their attacks on the First Amendment are going to be legalized. It's going to be codified. Their attacks on equating with strong language, terrorism to protesting is going to be codified. This is why this presidential memorandum is extremely concerning, because it does not allow our presidency to have accountability for what is determined as civil disorder. It leaves it open to a broad standpoint. And it allows connotation. It allows just connotation of words is very, 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 very important. So when you talk about, let's say, Candace Owens saying occultic practices and LGBTQ plus community in the same sentence, the connotation of that, even though she's not downright saying she thinks LGBTQ plus people are satanic, the connotation and the semantic connotation of that is conflating those two words together to manipulate and perverse the public against LGBTQ plus people. What does occult mean? Occultic means satanic, bad, evil. And then label LGBTQ plus people later on in that sentence, it's going to equate those two and conflate those two, and it's going to create this manipulative perception of what LGBTQ people are, but truly aren't. So this is what civil disorder is doing by our government officials like Stephen Miller and Mike Johnson going against the No Kings protest and saying protesters are terrorists. It has a connotation that systematically tries to destroy the actual perception and manipulate the actual perception of what protesting is and tries to criminalize it and demonize it and dehumanize it so we don't feel bad for protesters who are out on the street getting shoved or getting maced up their fucking inflatable air holes. That sounds crazy. That sounds crazy. But yeah, the fact that this is where we are at right now in our country is crazy. But it's literally ICE agents, a private militia, standing up against an inflatable frog and trying to kill the person inside the inflatable frog with mace up its air hole. That's some fucking crazy shit to go down in our history books. But yeah, and then also, I want to talk about this leaked audio in regards to a surveillance state of the United States that's definitely going to go down. It's just going to be a panopticon when it comes to that. And what a panopticon is, you have this center piece and then you have one surveillance over the entire world. Or the country, I should say. I want to talk about this because this is very important. Not only is our government trying to surveil your guns and get gun registry lists, they're going to now trying to define protesting as criminal actions. And now, as J.D. Vance has said before, women should not be allowed to travel interstate for healthcare. Let's take a listen.
Roe versus Wade is overruled. Ohio bans abortion. In 2022, let's say 2024, and then, every day, George Soros sends a 747 to Columbus to load up disproportionately black women to get them to go have abortions in California. And of course, the left will celebrate this as a victory for diversity. And it's like, if that happens, do you need some federal response to prevent it from happening? Because it's really creepy. And, I'm pretty sympathetic to that, actually. Let's say Roe versus Wade is...
So what I want to pay attention to here is...
like, if that happens, do you need some federal response to prevent it from happening?
Do you need some sort of federal response to prevent women from going interstate travel because their home state does not allow healthcare that provides abortions? Do we need federal enforcement to enforce women from not leaving their states to get healthcare? Do you not see the surveillance state that we are getting into, that they are incorporating into our United States? Soon we're not going to be able to travel interstate because people don't want us to travel interstate for healthcare. And it's not going to stop at women. It's going to stop at any procedure they deem unfit or unnatural in cause. It's not going to stop at women. It's going to go further than women. And it's just insane to me that people are not seeing the writing on the walls. The writing is so fucking orange as that fucking tangerine piece of shit. It's so bright orange. And it's like, see the fucking writing on the walls. You have this gun registry that's about to happen. You have executive order that's trying to criminalize protesting that's guaranteed under the First Amendment. And then you also have J.D. Vance talking about, canceling interstate or monitoring interstate travel for women who need health care. See the fucking writing on the walls. They have this idea of a panopticon of invasive surveillance that is going to be implemented in the United States if we don't continue fighting in regards to especially this No Kings protest. We need to stand up because this is fucking insane. And they're not going to stop until all of this is implemented. And that implement was a directory from Project 2025 that Donald Trump said he had nothing to do with, right? But now he's like, he literally called Project 2025 extreme in one of his rallies. He was like, I don't know anything about it. From what I read, it's extreme. But now because we already knew he's a liar. We already knew that. But now he's just implementing the shit. Or not, he's not. He's letting people implement it. He's no longer the president. We know this man's not running the country. That man can barely stand. I heard him on a podium and he sounded like he was out of breath, like he was about to pass out. That man has health issues and Father Time is catching up with his ass. He even said that he's not going to heaven. He's probably not going to heaven because we already know he sold his soul for power, money, and greed to hand over the United States to these sickos who look to control us through every aspect of our life through invasive surveillance to make sure that we're living some Christian lifestyle that isn't even ideally Christian. That's the crazy part about it all. Insanity. But it's just, it continues every day. You look back and you're like, wow, that just happened. Another part of our government is being destroyed, from now our government shutdown and federal workers being fired. It's allowing this administration, this regime, to now ramp up their actions against defunding and removing and deleting programs that are necessary in the United States for human beings, for Americans. So it's just insanity to sit here and see all of this go down. And another thing is that Trump is trying to send more federal agents into California, even though the National Guard was literally sent out of California because it was deemed unconstitutional for the president to send the National Guard in to California. So he's not only is he trying to do it in multiple other states, but he's now trying to do it into the city of San Francisco in California now. So let's go ahead and watch this video.
I talked about crime, but I never knew that we were going to get into it like we did. You know, I mean, I used to watch these cities with the murders. Chicago recently had one deal where they had 11 murders in one weekend, and they said, well, yeah, but it was a holiday weekend. They actually told me that was the reason. Like it was okay.
No one told him that.
Holiday. It was Labor Day. These people are the worst.
No one told him
that. They better, I tell you what,
I can guarantee you that no one told this senile, old, decrepit, decaying man, not even a man, he's a shit stain on this country. No one told this shit stain that just because it was Memorial Day weekend, there was more murders. That is insane. Like, you can't come up with this shit. No one told this man that.
The people in Chicago and the people in places like that can be fixed. At some point, it gets to where you can't fix it anymore. It's too far gone. And we have some cities like that. But these are great cities that can be fixed.
Again, he's laying out the plan. He's saying that these cities are too far gone, so we need martial law to impact the cities and get them into a straight line, so that way when it comes to the midterms, we can control what the midterms look like in the advancement of this political agenda that looks to demonize everyone else who is not a white man.
I'm going to be strongly recommending, at the request of government officials, which is always nice, that you start looking at San Francisco. I think we can make San Francisco, there's one of our great cities 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and now it's a mess.
I want to say, right now, this is what I want to say. This man is trying to abuse his presidential power like he's already centralized the presidential power. But you still have to go through courts. You still have to go through courts and judicial proceedings and get authorization from our courts to enter into cities and states with National Guards or federal agents and armed forces. That is the truth. I'm saying, Stephen Miller wants to talk about Title 10. Let's talk about Title 10. I forget the section, but it states that you need judicial proceedings and approval before a president can just send in troops into the United States. And that's why Trump keeps losing in court, because he's prophesizing these lies about destruction in cities that doesn't exist and isn't true. When we talk about San Francisco, like he just wanted to talk about, if we go ahead and look at the numbers and stats, San Francisco has seen a significant drop in crime, with rates at a 23-year low as of early 2025. So if crime rate is dropping, where the fuck is he getting this information from? Like, is someone feeding him AI videos of destruction in San Francisco? Like, is he looking at the movie 2012 and thinking that's reality? Like, y'all remember that movie, The End of the World? What if someone's just literally just showing him on an iPad video of 2012, the movie, with the San Francisco bridge just falling down? Someone's creating AI videos. Someone's just showing him, natural destruction videos and movies at this point, because there's no way this senile ass man thinks there's actual destruction, because someone has to be showing him falsified fake AI videos of this shit. Like, there's no way. Like, he's not leaving that White House. And when he does, he's leaving it to go to Qatar to make deals with them and have Qatari air bases on U.S. soil, which is another big national security problem. But of course, national security does not matter to Donald Trump. But like I'm saying, he's too enamored with his international friends and foes, such as Argentina, and bailing them out, instead of actually focusing and walking the streets of the United States of America. You're going to see that San Francisco's, as of 2025, has a 23-year low in violent crime. So where is he getting these statistics from? Where is he getting this information from? Because it's obviously not true. So again, our president, once again, lying. Our president, once again, fabricating, inflating claims that don't even actually effing exist. It's insane. Every fucking day, this man is on these news conferences, on these press conferences, on his podiums, barely coherent enough to speak because this man has Alzheimer's, dementia, and senile tendencies. And he's sitting here talking about, let's send troops into San Francisco because it's a mess. It's destruction. I see the San Francisco bridge burned down. But there's no proof of this. And it was the same with Portland. And it was the same with Chicago. All of these democratic cities, it is nothing but a scheme. It is a scheme to intimidate democratic cities to go into hiding so you don't speak out against this administration in dissent to what they are doing to immigrants, to what they are doing to children, to what they are going to do to every minority community. And let's talk about the real thing. Because the real reason this presidency currently exists in this invasive surveillance state currently is because they need to hide the Epstein files. That's why. This is why there's so much crackdown on surveillance in this country right now. Because they want to make sure that those Epstein files do not get out. Because if they do get out, it is going to destroy not only the entire Republican Party, but a lot of the Democratic Party as well. And I honestly feel we need an auditor in the United States, a third-party auditor, because I don't think we can trust, if the Epstein files do come out, that all the information is going to be intact, accurate, and truthful, especially with this regime that is in play right now. But that is the reason that all this crackdown on national security and protesting is going on. It's because they don't want to release the destructive evidence that is in those files, in those Epstein files. And Trump doesn't want to because he's probably the second ringleader in it all. That's how he became president, right? I mean, why not put your second in command in to protect the entirety of the destructive administration, right? That makes sense. That makes complete sense. Put Trump in and he'll protect us all. Anyway, this is the end of the episode. I really do appreciate anyone who has stopped in and watched. Go ahead, if you haven't already, you guys can hit that subscribe button. I'm on almost every night talking about the political chaos that this administration ensues and decides to enact and torment and torture and traumatize American citizens with. But the only way we keep this at bay is by talking about it and by exposing the lies and the inflations that this administration continues to put out on a national scale. If you haven't, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I am your host, Ariana Dieva. This is The Civil Point, and I will talk to you guys on the next brand new episode. Bye.